After a very exciting Miami Grand Prix race weekend, we head into a bye week, and now we're in a triple header. You got Imola, Monaco, and the Spanish Grand Prix. The first two races are going to be pretty meh at best. They're going to be pretty boring in my opinion, but the Spanish Grand Prix down the line is going to be very interesting because we're going to see practically a new regulation, if you will, mid-season, and McLaren, who's the best team right now in my opinion, obviously they don't want to admit it as a team, but they're the best by a big margin. They're going to be affected by this thoroughly, and they're going to have their work cut out for them in the second half of the year. So these next 3 weeks are going to be very exciting, and it all starts off with Imola, and I am here today to talk to y'all about who I think is going to win the Grand Prix and who is going to be the point scorer. So stay tuned for that, but enough said here, and on to the intro we go. The big storyline following the Miami Grand Prix was the fallout at Alpine. So, after the wreck in lap 1 of Jack Doohan, he retired from the race. It obviously sparked up the conversation. When would he get the boot for Franco Colapinto to get into that car? And Sunday night, rumors emerged that Alpine told Jack Doohan and his representatives, his dad, that they were going to move on from him and put Franco in the car for at least the next 5 races. And then the next day, or next couple of days, we have seen Oliver Oaks lead the team suddenly, and people thought it was a big fallout between him and Flavio Briatore about the driver lineup decisions, or he got a call from Red Bull. But it turns out he is dealing with a Russian oligarch of Dmitry Mazepin. And we all know the European sections on Russia during the Russia-Ukraine debacle is at an all-time high, and they're very strict about it. And Oliver Oaks was working with a Russian business, Ukraine, and his brother, William, got arrested by Silverstone, and Oliver Oaks just fled to Dubai, and it's very shady is what it is. It's very, very shady. But that's the reason why he left the team. It's not because Doohan got booted for Colapinto, even though he may have disagreed with it, but that's not the reason why he left. It's very sketchy. He went to Dubai. He's hiding from the European stuff. I'm sure he's not welcome back to Europe, or let alone the UK. I'm just being honest here when I say this. But Franco Colapinto got into the car, and we saw Flavio Briatore go to team principal. I know a lot of people are not a big fan of this because of what he did in the past, cheating back in Singapore many years ago, sending out PK and wrecking him, and it was a bad situation there. Don't get me wrong. But I believe in second chances, and Flavio is going to do a good job here. And next year, Alpine is going to be in the top of the pecking order with the Mercedes power unit, and Mercedes is the best car right now, according to the rumors for the 2026 regulations. So Alpine may be a championship contender next year, and who would you want to have at team principal, like outside of the one and only Flavio Briatore? Nobody. Flavio knows how to get the job done, and he will do it. He will get his eighth career championship as a team principal next year. Mark my words. Already there, but Franco's in the car. But now on to the Imola Grand Prix picks. The Imola Grand Prix is going to be one where I believe it's going to be decided on Saturday during qualifying, because where you qualify, you got the potential to finish maybe 3 to 4 positions higher if you're an average car, and a lot lower. So it's going to be all decided in qualifying, and I think the best car for Imola is going to be the McLarens. I think Oscar Piastri gets the job done, and he's going to make it 4 wins in a row, and he's going to keep on gritting on Lando Norris's grave. Lando Norris, his championship hopes by the week is getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. But we all know, though, if Lando Norris goes out this weekend and does halfway decent and Piastri has a very crappy day, let's say he finishes outside the points and has a DNF, and Norris is in the top 3, Norris is right back in the mix. So I know Norris is still a good margin behind Piastri, but he just one bad race from Piastri from being ahead of him, and I just know that Verstappen and Red Bull's uprace this upcoming weekend is going to be very big, and they're going to also be in the mix. So if Norris keeps on getting further and further behind Piastri, it would not surprise me when we see the Montreal Canadian Grand Prix, after this triple header come onto the scene, in fact, McLaren decides to put Norris. You're going to be in line of Piastri. You're going to help him win this championship like he did to you last year. Yes, they had to fall out in Budapest, but after that, they worked together. They really did. They helped each other out. Piastri gave him the win, sprint win in Brazil and Sao Paulo, and Norris paid a favor back in Qatar in the sprint race there. So we all know that they could be a good team when they work together, and I think if things are really far apart in Montreal, they may tell them to get in line. So there you go there, but Piastri wins, Verstappen second, and Lando Norris third. He is still competitive in the championship battle, but it's getting slimmer and slimmer, like I said, and if this accumulates over the next so many weeks in the triple header, he's going to be a good race and a half to 2 races behind Piastri. Alrighty there, P4. George Russell. George Russell right now is in a very interesting situation. He is doing really well. Kimi Antonelli is getting better by the week. He's not on Russell's level yet, but the contracts are up. Who is Toto Wolff going to sign? Because we all know that Max Verstappen is going to be in the mix. So if Verstappen were to go to Mercedes, who are they going to boot? Kimi Antonelli or George Russell? It's also going to be George Russell. And George Russell right now is feeling the pressure, but in a good way, though. He's going out there and making a name for himself and always being in the mix for a podium spot. So I think Russell, at the end of the day, is going to do enough to keep that seat for next year. But his seat's getting warm, but he's handling it really well. He's not bending the car week in and week out. Because if he was, obviously the rumors would get a lot more intense. But yeah, I don't want to worry too much about Russell. But P4 there. P5, Charles Leclerc. And this one right here is going to be very interesting. Because if Ferrari cannot get the setup right here, they're not going to get it right in Monaco. That's 2 races down the drain for them. And Williams, we all know that Williams' qualifying pace is second to none. And they're going to be sporty in these next 2 qualifying sessions in Imola and Monaco. And they have the potential to steal a lot of points from Ferrari. And that battle for P4 in the constructors is only going to get warmer. So I cannot wait for these next couple of races to get into the books. But keep an eye on Williams. I believe they're going to put a lot of pressure on Ferrari. And I'll talk about them more in a minute when I get to the drivers. But Kimi Antonelli, P6. About what you expect. I think after the summer break, we should be seeing some P5s, some P4s, and maybe at a podium here and there. But I wouldn't expect a win from him this year. If he does, good. But if he doesn't, kind of expected it. Behind him, P7, Alexander Albon. He's outscoring Lewis Hamilton. Keep an eye on that one. Because Hamilton is a P8, Carlos Sainz, P9, and P10. I know I'm going to piss off a lot of Australian fans here when I say this. Franco Colapinto. Franco is a very good driver. Yes, last year, towards the end of his time at Williams, he did mess up a lot of vehicles. He wrecked a lot. I mean, a lot. And that's the reason why he didn't get the Red Bull seat, but Liam Lawson did. I believe that to an extent, it kind of saved his career because he had a better chance of surviving at Alpine than he did at Red Bull, in my opinion. Because you saw how ruthless Red Bull was with Liam Lawson. I'm just telling you now, Franco Colapinto did not need that for his F1 career. I think Alpine was the better decision, and it all worked out for him really well. So he's not going to wreck it this weekend, I don't think. I think obviously he will have his moments, but these next 5 races for him is going to be very crucial. So he's going to be locked in, and I believe he's going to have a really good outing at Imola, and he will outdo his teammate and will score 1 singular point. So there you go there. Piastri wins the Imola Grand Prix. But what do you think about my predictions? Comment down below. I'll see you guys next time.